think most people know that I started my martial art training with my mother since I was very, very little. And my mother is, as you know, as most people know, she's a martial art instructor. And she's been teaching martial art in the state of Massachusetts in America for many years. And when I was very little, studying martial art with my mother, during that period, simultaneously, I was influenced by kung fu films, martial art films, like most people at that period. And big fan of Bruce Lee. And martial art films really influenced me rather than being growing up in a martial art family, I think, because you know, I think most young kid, they tend to look for a hero, and you find that in martial art films, you know, because it gives you a sense of energy and power and self-being, self-security. When I was young, I never expected to be in the martial art film business. I never expected to be in the film business in the first place. I was just training martial art and trying to be the best martial artist as I could. And I was traveling around learning different styles of martial art. I went to China, lived in China for on and off a period of 2 years. It was a coincidence when I was going back to America from the 2 years training in China, and I stopped by in Hong Kong, and I was discovered by a very famous director, Yuen Woo-ping, and I started making films then, and until now. And then starting to all the years of film business, and kind of got me into loving filmmaking, and also discovered that that I have certain talents in this field, you know, of directing, action directing, performing. Many years ago, when I was just action directing, I was helping director Yuen Woo-ping as a action director back in the D&B days, back in the Tiger Cage 1, 2, 3 line of duty days, when I was choreographing most of the fight scenes for him. Well, actually, I was choreographing most of my fight scenes in his films. And I used to say to myself, you know, it could have been shot certain ways, other ways, possibly a better ways, with different angles, framing, and camera movements. You know, I would imagine a totally different approach if I would have directed the film or the fight scene. And a lot of times I would picture or break down all the shots in my head, and then I would try to approach Yuen Woo-ping and then give him another perspective how this fight scene should look in my view, because after all, I was mainly choreographing most of the fight scenes, you know. So I watch a lot of movies until now, and still watch a lot of movies. And throughout the years, you know, I discovered that film is nothing but a puzzle put together. A director's job is to tell a story using the basic knowledge of his basic knowledge, right? As a director, you know, the difference between a good director and bad director is telling. A good director knows how to tell a good story. A story is made up of images, shot after shot. Some have many shots, some have longer shots, less shots. You put them together, hour and a half or 2 hours. Hong Kong films an hour and a half, and American films mainly is 2 hours. You put them together, all these shots with music, with patterns, beginning, climax, and conclusion. Then you have a package. You have a whole product, a story, a movie. I think the objective of making these films, right, are trying to please the majority of the audience, and that's another debate argument that I think filmmakers are still trying to sort out today. Is that, do you make a movie for yourself, or you make a movie for the public, right? Because there are a lot of great knowledgeable film directors. They rather make films suitable for their beliefs, right? But sometimes suiting their beliefs and suiting their vision are not necessarily suitable for the audience. But does that make them a less of a director when their movies are not well received by the public, right? So for me, I would like to make films which are suitable for my own satisfactions, but at the same time, if it can relate with the public.
Come on, eat.
I believe everything in life is full of music, full of rhythm. Me drinking a cup of coffee, I'm picking up a cup of coffee. That's an expression. This expression requires rhythm in music. It has rhythm in it. It has music in it. You might not hear it because it doesn't make it a crisp sound, a melodic sound. But if you look at the whole movement itself, it has that melodic in it. If you feel the life to it, right? So anyway, martial art is just so happened to be one form of expressions. I mean, during the years, thousands of years ago, or maybe not thousands, not too far back, but several hundred years ago, martial art was a tool to attack and defend. And that's just part of the human expressions, martial arts. But it doesn't mean anything else are not part of that expressions. When you're talking, that is part of the expression. You're dancing, part of expressions. You know, anything in life is part of expression. Your eyes blinking is part of expressions, right? So what I'm trying to say is, I will not separate martial art fight scenes or simply a man walking down the street. I will not separate them into two categories, right? Everything to me is one whole. As a director, I'm sort of like a musician. I'm trying to put the hour and a half and the 2 hours, I will compose them into one composition. When you have a lot of fighting action, it's like you reach to a certain climax, you know, you're getting down with your music. Then if you look at a drama scene when two persons is looking at each other, maybe that could be a silent a bass, you know. So I will not separate them, martial art or drama or blah blah blah, right? It's a whole. You know, especially if you're making an action movie, how do you draw a line between when the star is throwing a punch? How about right before he throws the punch? How does he throw the punch? Does he maybe drink coffee and then swallow the coffee, and then he brings out that really intense emotion onto his face? Then he delivered that inner emotion into his fist, and then he clinched a fist, and then he throw that punch. You know, do you call that as part of the martial art, or you understand what I'm saying? It's like this, the whole thing. It should be a whole.
Yeah, hello. 659. They're where? At the Fountain Inn. Hey, taxi, stop. What are you doing? Open the door.
No, wait, man, I'm off duty.
What are you saying? Your light was on.
You stink, man.
Well, let's begin with saying that. Well, I'm not a saint, I mean, I have a lot of. I'm human, so of course sometimes you get bothered by criticism. I think everybody bothered by criticism, right? And then unfortunately, I believe that a lot of people in Hong Kong. It's a shame that especially Hong Kong is a place where Hong Kong action movie is well known to the world, right? Unfortunately, on the other hand, the people who write about action movie, most of them, I believe, have no idea what is a good action movie or a good martial art movie is all about, I mean, why do I say that? Simply by reading their reviews, I mean, seldom they talk about the details of the movies, I mean, they will talk about how good of a movie by using words like exciting, fast action. But how fast of an action? How exciting of the action? They cannot describe because they don't understand it, right? To them, a very good action movie and a good action movie and a fair action movie, to them, there's no difference. That what I felt was ashamed and embarrassed. Rather than can I receive criticism? I can receive criticism only if you know what you're talking about. I can definitely respect that point of view, and trying to look at that perspective of it. I'm not sitting back and saying that I'm the greatest director or I think my stuff is the best. There isn't any so-called best movie. I don't believe in best movie. I watch many movies, Hollywood movies, European, American, Japanese, Hong Kong movies. There's so many good movies. There's so many different style of good movies, different style of good director. If you ask me to rate certain movies the best, I can't. I mean, it's like, exactly. It's like if you're gonna ask me what's the best food, I can't tell you. There's so many great food out there,
David?
I can't predict the future. I just have to do the best I can. Try to do what I do best. And hopefully there'll market to it. And I'm optimistic because I think that there are quite a number of Hong Kong action movie followers in the world, and unfortunately, in the past couple of years, of this Asian stock crisis, and also there are many poor Hong Kong action movies, kind of drag the whole industry down. And hopefully, because the demand of these followers and of course buyers too, that there are lack of these type of films. So therefore, when there's lack of it, you require more of these films being produced, and I would like to be one of them, and always trying to come up with something that can both be satisfying for myself and also the audience. I think it's definitely a great product. I think a film shouldn't look at just one element, action or martial art. It's a whole, I mean, like I said, it was a whole package, and Hollywood can provide that with the budget. Simply the budget, is a size of a Hollywood movies is maybe 10 times, 20 times, 50 times, 100 times larger than a standard Hong Kong films, right? So by all means, I think it would be a great opportunity for anybody, any director, not only from Hong Kong, any director in the world can have the opportunities to be in a project that is backed up by such huge finance stables or well-distributed network like most Hollywood films. You know, if I have the opportunities, I would do the same. You know, I mean, film is business. Hollywood is a huge network in that respect. So there are certain rules you have to follow. You know, I think in any type of business, there are rules and system you have to follow. Who knows? I mean, nobody knows. I don't think John Woo knew that he was going to be that make it big when he made Better Tomorrow. Nobody knows. If you put too much expectation of what your end product is going to turn out, you might be disappointed. I don't think most successful people in the world didn't plan to be successful, didn't plan it to. It just happened. I mean, they planned it to in the long run, but they did not like put all their hopes in one project. I don't think Jackie Chan realized that Rush Hour was going to be a success until he became a success, right? So you just have to, as an actor, I think not as a professional, you just have to dedicate yourself into your work and do the best you can. And if it turns out great, great. If it doesn't, it's still great, but because you did the best you can.